Macy's has all of your Grill Master essentials for Father's Day. Stop by to get our hand-trimmed chicken breast and certified Angus beef patties that are ready to grill, so Dad can have his favorite dinner. Make sure to browse our bakery to find the perfect no-work Father's Day treat with our decadent peanut butter bars or famous donuts. Right now, you can get boneless beef ribeye steaks for $12.99 per pound at Macy's. Shop these Father's Day essentials in-store or online at Macys.com through June 18th. Macy's, happy shopping!
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying, or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Welcome to a special series of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast while we wait for Season 18 of the regular show to commence. During this series, we are taking a brief look at the lives of the first 10 presidents of the United States. This is Episode 5. James Monroe. James Monroe, the 5th President of the United States and a key figure in the nation's early history, was born on the 28th of April, 1758, in Westmoreland County, Virginia. His presidency is best remembered for the Monroe Doctrine, a defining statement of American foreign policy that warned European powers against further colonization in the Western Hemisphere. Monroe's life was marked by his service during the American Revolution, his diplomatic career, and his leadership during a period of expanding American influence and territorial growth. Monroe was born into a relatively affluent family of planters. His father, Spence Monroe, owned a tobacco plantation, while his mother, Elizabeth Jones Monroe, was from a prominent Virginia family. The young Monroe grew up in the midst of the Virginia gentry, and his early education reflected the family's status. He attended a local school in Westmoreland County before enrolling at Campbelltown Academy, where he received a classical education studying Latin, mathematics, and history. In 1774, Monroe entered the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. His time at the college was cut short by the growing tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain. The following year, in 1775, Monroe left school to join the Continental Army as the American Revolution erupted. His decision to join the fight for independence would shape the rest of his life. Monroe's military career during the Revolution was marked by bravery and dedication. He served under General George Washington and saw combat in some of the war's most critical battles. At the Battle of Trenton in 1776, Monroe was severely wounded while leading a charge, earning him the rank of lieutenant colonel. He spent the remainder of the war serving in various military capacities, including as an aide to General William Alexander, Lord Stirling. Monroe's service in the Revolution gave him a lifelong connection to the cause of American independence and solidified his loyalty to the fledgling nation. After the war, Monroe returned to Virginia to complete his education in law under the guidance of Thomas Jefferson, who would become his lifelong friend and political mentor. Monroe's legal training under Jefferson, one of the leading intellectual figures of the era, instilled in him a deep understanding of republicanism and the principles of limited government. In 1782, Monroe was elected to the Virginia House of Delegates, marking the beginning of his long political career. Monroe quickly rose through the ranks of American politics. In 1790, he was elected to the U.S. Senate, where he aligned himself with the Democratic-Republican Party, which was led by Jefferson and James Madison. Like many in his party, Monroe was a staunch advocate for states' rights and a limited federal government, positions that put him in opposition to the Federalist Party, led by Alexander Hamilton. Monroe's political career took a turn towards diplomacy in 1794, when President George Washington appointed him as the U.S. Minister to France. This was a critical period in Franco-American relations, as the French Revolution was underway, and the United States was navigating a delicate diplomatic balance between France and Britain. Although Monroe was a supporter of the French Revolution, his tenure as minister was marked by controversy, and he was eventually recalled by Washington in 1796 due to disagreements over foreign policy. Despite this setback, Monroe's political fortunes soon rebounded. He was elected governor of Virginia in 1799, a position he held for 3 terms. During his time as governor, Monroe oversaw reforms in the state's legal system and navigated tensions between the federal government and states' rights advocates. His leadership during this period helped establish him as one of the most prominent figures in Virginia politics. In 1803, Monroe returned to the international stage when President Jefferson appointed him as a special envoy to France to negotiate the purchase of the Louisiana Territory. This mission resulted in the Louisiana Purchase, one of the most significant territorial acquisitions in U.S. history, which doubled the size of the country. Monroe's successful negotiation with Napoleon Bonaparte was a key achievement in his diplomatic career and greatly expanded his influence within the Democratic-Republican Party. Monroe's political career continued to ascend, and in 1811 he was appointed Secretary of State by President Madison. During the War of 1812, Monroe played a critical role in both diplomatic and military efforts, even serving as Secretary of War in addition to his duties as Secretary of State. His leadership during the war earned him widespread respect, and in 1816, Monroe was elected President of the United States. Monroe's presidency, which lasted from 1817 to 1825, is often referred to as the era of good feelings due to the relative political harmony that characterized his time in office. During this period, the Federalist Party had largely collapsed, leaving the Democratic Republicans as the dominant political force. Monroe sought to promote national unity, traveling across the country to foster a sense of common purpose among Americans. One of Monroe's most significant domestic achievements was the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which sought to balance the interests of free and slave states as the country expanded westward. The compromise allowed Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state and Maine as a free state, while prohibiting slavery in the northern part of the Louisiana Territory. While the Missouri Compromise temporarily eased tensions between the North and South, it foreshadowed the deeper conflicts over slavery that would later lead to the Civil War. On the foreign policy front, Monroe is best known for the Monroe Doctrine, a statement issued in 1823 that declared the Western Hemisphere off-limits to further European colonization. The doctrine also stated that the United States would not interfere in European affairs. This bold declaration set the stage for future American foreign policy and established the United States as the dominant power in the Americas. After leaving office in 1825, Monroe retired to his estate in Virginia. However, his later years were marked by financial difficulties and personal loss. His wife, Elizabeth Courtwright Monroe, whom he had married in 1786, died in 1830, and Monroe's health began to decline. He moved to New York City to live with his daughter, Maria Monroe Gouverneur. James Monroe passed away on the 4th of July, 1831, in New York City, at the age of 73. Remarkably, Monroe died on the same date as 2 other founding fathers and presidents, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, exactly 5 years after their deaths, and exactly 55 years since the Declaration of Independence was ratified. Monroe's passing marked the end of an era in American history. His legacy, defined by his role in expanding the nation's territory, promoting national unity, and shaping American foreign policy, continues to be celebrated today as an integral part of the country's early development. I hope you enjoyed that special episode of 5-Minute Biographies. If you did, why not subscribe or leave a review wherever you get your podcasts? Also, why not check out our other 5-Minute podcasts at 5minuteproductions.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, it's official. We are very much in the final sprint to Election Day. And face it, between debates, polling releases, even court appearances, it can feel exhausting, even impossible to keep up with. I'm Brad Milkey. I'm the host of Start Here, the daily podcast from ABC News. And every morning, my team and I get you caught up on the day's news in a quick, straightforward way that's easy to understand, with just enough context so you can listen, get it, and go on with your day. So, kickstart your morning. Start smart with Start Here and ABC News, because staying informed shouldn't feel overwhelming.